Round two of the 2023 Euroformula Open Championship comes to a conclusion with race number 3 from Spa-Francorchamps. It is the second of the two reverse grid endurance races. Sorry, we've been talking so much about endurance this weekend, it almost slipped out of my tongue. But 10 cars ready to do battle for the final time this weekend among the Euroformula Open cars. And it is Gerard G, the Hong Kong rookie, starting on reverse grid pole for this one. The guy who had his seat fitting only on Thursday is now starting on pole position in his first Euroformula Open weekend as a result of qualifying 6th on Saturday morning. This grid set by the reversing the top 6 of the qualifying order. My name is Chris Stevens. Alongside me for one last time this weekend is Chris McCarthy. And before we say hello to Chris, let's take a look at the highlights from the weekend so far. We've seen plenty of action and plenty of strategic thinking amongst the slipstream. Francesco Simonazzi was allowed through on the inside by Noel Leon in yesterday's race. Simonazzi and Cian Shields went toe-to-toe on the opening lap. Cian Shields coming out on top, but Noel Leon forced his way through from third, having started on pole position, and came through to take back-to-back victories for the Mexican driver and take the championship lead as well. In race number 2, it was a very similar story, except this time Jakob Bergmeister from reverse grid pole didn't get away at all well, and Simonazzi led in the early stages. Again, he and Bryce Aaron this time were the ones to fight for the overall win, and Bryce Aaron made his way through to take the lead. Noel Leon surely went through into second place, but ended up fighting for the lead and just came out short.
Le trophée de l'équipe
this is how the championship looks going into this third and final race of the weekend. Noel Leon leads by 24 points to Francesco Simonazzi, who is only 1 point ahead of Bryce Aaron. And Chris, now we can have a chat about this race. Here's the grid then for the third and final race of the weekend. Gerard G, the rookie, starts on pole position with Bryce Aaron, our race winner from earlier, starts on the front row of the grid. Then comes Josh Mason on his return to the championship ahead of Francesco Simonazzi. Cian Shields and Noel Leon, yesterday's pole sitter, starts in 6th ahead of Jakob Bergmeister and Juju Noda. Those two have put on plenty of action in the rookie class so far this weekend. On the final row of the grid, Paolo Brashnik and Vladimir Neschiel, the 2 gold drivers. Chris, I think we can have a word now. How are you doing?
Yes, very good. Very excited for this one. Great to be here. We've got a very exciting race ahead, I think. Gerard G on pole position, the Hong Kong rookie, like you said, who is still getting up to speed, I'm sure, with this car, with this track, but he's put in a really good performance, particularly in the first race. He was very impressive, actually fighting for the rookie win all the way to the end. And due to the reverse grid rules, he is going to start on pole position after a good qualifying performance. Bryce Aaron, though, is now a winner in the Euroformula Open, so he'll be confident lining up on the front row. Josh Mason has put in some good pace, didn't quite have the run in race 2 that he had in race 1, but do not count him out because he has showed really good pace at times this weekend. And then Simonazzi, who's led throughout at times. We've got Cian Shields, who was the fastest driver down the Kemmel Straight due to nailing the toe. Noel Leon looking to add to his win. And then come the rookies and Gold Cup drivers, the other ones anyway, because we have a rookie out front who is on screen. Jakob Bergmeister, Juju Noda, Paolo Brashnik, and Vladimir Neschiel as well. So, yeah, lots of games being played, like you said, drivers letting each other through, maybe drivers not wanting to be as close as they usually would be into the first corner to allow a good run and a good toe, but much different conditions to what we had this morning. This is pretty similar to what the guys raced in yesterday, and with that we saw some really fantastic racing earlier. It was a bit of a cold track and that led to some mistakes and cars that they were fighting with. But this, more like it. This is what they want to see. The sun beating down on the Spa circuit, the fans enjoying a nice afternoon out, taking in the atmosphere and the weather. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, track temperature has shot up to 43 degrees Celsius since this morning's race. How is that going to affect the new Pirelli tyres, which we know they're having to nurse an awful lot more than the Hancocks that we were due to be running on this season, and in fact ran at the first round, but because of the supply issues following their fire in their factory that deals with their motorsport supply, we've had to do a contingency plan, and Pirelli doing a great job stepping in and providing some tyres for this championship. So Gerard G on pole position then. It's only his second year of car racing and is the reigning Chinese F4 champion and the Formula Renault Super Challenge champion as well. That's also in China. Moved over to Europe this season, done the first couple of rounds of GB3, and here he is on reverse grid pole on his debut weekend in the Euroformula Open.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of nerves in the car for Gerard G, but this is where every racing driver wants to be. They want to be starting on pole position. There is Josh Mason, someone who's stood on the top step before. You know, this is not his first race by any means. He's got plenty of experience. Will that come into play? Kian Shields going from fourth as they came out of La Source to first. By the end, they got down the Kemmel Straight in race one. Race two, we saw a bit of a difficult start off the line for Jakob Bergmeister, which separated the field ever so slightly, and Francesco Simonazzi was able to get the run. Are we going to be seeing games played by Gerard G? Not too sure. I think he'll want to try and get away if he can, but let's see what happens behind. Bryce Aaron, I think any driver, when you've just got a race win, your confidence shoots up, and you could see that in him as he was celebrating. So I think he's going to be the one to watch at the start here. He's going to be the one going on the attack.
Bryce Aaron, a lot of confidence, but I think a lot of stress in that last race as well. I went to go and have a chat with him earlier, and he asked me, am I grey yet? I said, you haven't got as many as me, don't worry, you'll be absolutely fine.
Let's see how he is at the end of this one.
Yeah,
he's starting on the front row of the grid.
Exactly. Got a great chance from there, and I think definitely keep an eye on Josh Mason, three-time race winner from last year as well. Cars are lining up on the grid. Vladimir Neschil will take the 10th and final spot on the grid. The green flag waves at the back, and the lights come on. And for the third and final time, it's lights out at Spa-Francorchamps. An awful start made by Gerard G. Doesn't get away at all, and straight into the back goes one of the other Motor Park Run cars. And I think it's Paolo Brajnik who was caught up in that as well. So unfortunate for the Hong Kong rookie.
What a shame for Gerard G, starting on pole position, but such an easy mistake to make. Will follow what we're seeing for now, but if those cars are blocking the start-finish straight, then I think we could at least see a safety car. But here we go, let's follow the action, because we've got Josh Mason, I think that is in the tow of Aaron. He pulls to the right-hand side of screen, and it looks like we're going to have a change of lead here, Chris.
Yeah, Josh Mason to the outside, but here comes Francesco Simonazzi, making it 3 wide on the inside, has to bail out, and Josh Mason goes swooping round the outside for the Crypto Tower team.
Getting almost looked like he had a tag in the back there, but there we go, red flags out, no surprise at all. Red flags out, and that will be a full race restart. There we can see the medical team out. Marshall's just checking that all the drivers are okay. Thankfully, it wasn't a heavy impact, but it was enough to cause quite a bit of damage. And the drivers that didn't come through were Gerard G, Jakob Bergmeister, and Paolo Brajnik. So real shame for them. Let's have a look back at it, Chris.
Yeah, so the lights go out, and G just jolts forward a little bit, but it doesn't get going at all. And Jakob Bergmeister's got nowhere to go. And in trying to avoid it, actually collected Paolo Brajnik there, who was a bit of an innocent bystander. And all of that. And yeah, Juju Noda having to go around one of the other cars, which could have been Noel Leon, potentially, actually,
yeah,
or Kian Shields.
Yeah, it might have been Noel Leon, actually.
Can't quite see. But yeah, very good avoiding there by Juju Noda, who was it now holds the well, the only rookie left in the class actually, because we've just lost 2 of them. But no, great to see the drivers getting out of the cars, and a good time to thank the work of the marshals for all the work they do, because we couldn't go racing without them.
I think it was Noel Leon, because he's at the back now, isn't he?
Yeah.
There in the 19th. So it's all irrelevant anyway, because we're going to do a full race restart. But that's not going to do any good for his confidence. You know, when you've just had a stall, next time the nerves are going to be going even more. But you got to feel for Gerard G. Came over for this race, got his seat there, as Chris said Thursday. Great practice. Has been has demonstrated really good abilities to get up to speed as quick as he has, and he would have known that was his chance to maybe go and challenge for a win, if not podium. And a shame that that's all fallen away so quickly, but that's what can happen in racing. It can you do all the work in qualifying, and then it can all fall away in a split second by stalling the car like that. So yeah, it's one of, we see it quite a lot, of course, particularly in the junior formula, with drivers still learning their craft, and a real shame, but no doubt he will be back fighting at the front at some point.
So cars are going to make their way into the pit lane, unsurprisingly, because the front straight is rather filled with debris from the 3-car incident that we just saw. So 7 runners remain. And Vladimir Netashil, the sole gold driver, left as well. So we could have still a 5-car scrap still between Mason, Aaron, Simonazzi, Shields, and Leon. But man, if you're Josh Mason, you've just done a brilliant move around the outside of Lecon for the lead of the race. You're going to hate the fact that it's all been undone now.
Well, dress rehearsal, isn't it? You just got to do the same next time, and there's one less car ahead of you to pass when we do get going. There's plenty of vehicles out there, isn't there, in terms of getting all the cars out, and we can see that from our commentary box window. All, of course, that we do hope is all the drivers come away okay, but we are seeing to all the cars that are out there now. The remaining 7 drivers are going to come into the pit lane. Teams await to greet them as they come down the pit lane. Now they will stop, and then we will wait for everything to be cleared up on the start-finish line. All the drivers need to get out safely, and then we must retract the cars, and then once we've got a clear track, we can send them out there again to go racing. It will be a full race restart, so the grid will be in the same order that it was, albeit with the likes of Gerard G, Jakob Bergmeister, and Paolo Brajnik missing.
Yes, plenty of marshals sweeping away the debris and potentially cleaning up some fluid there, I think, as well.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if one of the cars has dropped some fluid there, and the low loaders carrying away the cars.
Yeah, well, whilst they're doing that, I guess a chance to reflect on what we've had so far this weekend, Chris, and what's coming up this season as well. You know, it's a fantastic calendar ahead of us, isn't it? I mean, this is definitely one of the standout ones, but it's been a fantastic weekend for me. Portimao, watching it was really great racing, but I think what Spa provides is that tactical element, doesn't it? And Noel Leon in the first race, letting this man here go through into the lead. We thought, did he do that on purpose? And then when we asked him, he said, absolutely, I did. And then it became a game throughout the weekend, which they learn in karting. This is the things that these drivers do when they're racing in cadets and the junior categories in karting. It's all about slipstream, and that is where they initially learn things like this and then apply it in a championship as big as Euroformula Open. But coming up, fantastic calendar, isn't it?
Yeah, so of course this is round 2 after the unfortunate cancellation of the Po round for the Euroformula Open, because it was an ambitious task to make the cars biofuel compliant very rapidly at the request of the event organisers. So that had to be sadly cancelled, but the contingency round has been brought in, which is going to be round 7 at Mugello. on the 1st of October. And now seeing these cars flying around Mugello, that would be something astonishing, wouldn't it? But of course, after this, we go to the Hungaroring in Budapest on the 17th and 18th of June. Then Circuit Paul Ricard on the 22nd and 23rd of July. The Red Bull Ring on the 9th, 10th of September. Then to Monza on the 23rd and 24th of September. Mugello, as I mentioned, and the season finale in Barcelona on the 21st and 22nd of October.
And plenty of our former drivers out there in action this weekend as well. One standing on the podium over in Monaco, Zane Maloney, finishing in 3rd place in Formula 2. So congratulations to him, and he's just one of a few drivers. Roman Stanek is a former driver. He gained 15 places in Monaco today. So
in Monaco?
It's not a bad place to learn overtaking. You know, Euroformula Open, did some great overtaking when he was racing in that. 15 places, he went and applied it. Everyone wondering, how on earth did he do that? But great to see so many of them, the likes of Christian Mansell also over there, Alex Garcia as well, Rafael Villa Gomez racing in Monaco this weekend, Ido Cohen as well. And then there's talking about former Euroformula Open drivers this evening, for us anyway.
Oh, yes.
We've got a pretty big race going on the other side of the pond from where we are, and some of the Euroformula Open alumni in that one as well. And I think they've got a pretty good chance.
I really think they do. You might have heard of Alex Palou. He's starting on pole position for the Indy 500 this evening. So there's plenty more where that came from the Euroformula stable. Another of the Triple Crown races will have Yifei in it, the 2020 Euroformula Open champion as well, and he's now racing in the top class at the 24 Hours of Le Mans in the Porsche Hypercar.
And likewise, Frederick Lubin in the LMP2 class, hasn't he? He's done a great job since joining the United Auto Sports team. So we've had drivers at Monaco, drivers at Indy 500 later. Yeah. As you said, the Triple Crown drivers in Le Mans as well. It is fantastic, isn't it? And Oliver Girth, since winning the series, has done a fantastic job in Formula 3. Right, so there's Noel Leon, but there's the stall for Gerard G, who did attempt to get his car out the way, but having stalled it, was nothing he could do. Jakob Bergmeister, a bit unsighted here, just completely locks the brakes. There goes the car ahead of him, moves. He tries to move to the right-hand side, which takes out Paolo Brajnik. A real unfortunate incident for all involved.
And it does... It is definitely No Leon who had the slow start further down that Juju Noda had to avoid.
Yeah.
But the clean-up operation's still underway.
Yeah, we've got to take all the time required to do so. But of course, one thing as well has been the new tyres, isn't it? We've talked about previous champions, previous drivers, but in terms of right here, right now, we've got the tactic going on. Also the tyres as well, isn't it? You talked about the new tyres coming in. These Pirelli tyres, you've got to manage them a little bit more, and that's something I think we saw a big sign of yesterday, with, as you said, the temperatures shooting up, track temp 43. That's going to be a big thing in this race. Yeah,
Francesco Simonazzi, having been fighting at the front the entirety of race 1, in the last 5 laps or so, really fell down, which would suggest to me that he burnt through the tyres a little quicker than the cars around him, which is fair enough. It was everyone's first race on that set of tyres. Yeah. So that's definitely something to look out for. Of course, this time last season, they were running Michelins, and the Michelin wanting to increase the wheel rim size to kind of match what a lot of other series are doing at the moment, but that would have needed a new chassis for this series, which wasn't really an option. So the switch to Hankook was made, but then unfortunately there was a fire at the Dijon factory in March, which is where most of the motorsport tyres are made, including for the Super Formula Lights, Euro Cup 3 and Spanish F4, and this championship as well. So Pirelli coming in at the 11th hour to help out and supply tyres for the championship, which I'm sure the organisers of the Euroformula Open are incredibly grateful for.
We can see the drivers still down there in pit lane. Noel Leon at the back, looking to go for what would be his 3rd win. 3 wins also for Alex Palou as well. So that would be joining a list of quite some drivers who have managed to win the 3. And looking back through people I've won at Spa, pretty much except for 2021, when Louis Foster came and won all 3 races. And again, Louis Foster, a man fighting for wins, and I'd say the title in Indy NXT this year, formerly known as Indy Lights. He was the only one really that didn't go on to become champion. So this is a place, if you win here, you tend to go on and win the title. So I think that will give a lot of confidence to Bryce Aron and Noel Leon, and if we have a third different winner, to them as well, Chris.
Certainly could. Of course, Noel Leon took the first win of the weekend in race number 1, when we had Bryce Aron, 2 Team Motor Park cars. Noel Leon, of course, a 2-time F4 champion. He won the 2019-20 North and Central American, or NACAM, as a lot of people call it, F4 Championship. 2021 won the US F4 Championship, and he did so in the United States Grand Prix support race. So a very good day to make an impression on people. Last year in the Formula Regional European Championship, first year racing in Europe, has come over to the Euroformula Open, racing for the very famous Motorpark team. Bryce Aron, also coming from across the pond, but from Winnetka, Illinois. 19-year-old, was a Team USA scholarship winner, and this is his first season racing in mainland Europe, having initially come over to the UK in 2020. The Formula Ford season for him. He was 5th at the Formula Ford Festival and 3rd at the Walter Hayes Trophy. And then 2 years in GB3 in 2021 and 22, where he won plenty of races. Take another look at some of the action that we've had so far this weekend. Noel Leon was on pole position for race number 1. A slow start from Cian Shields meant Simonazzi got the better of him, and then Noel Leon, as Chris mentioned, letting Simonazzi through up on the inside of the first corner so that he could get the slipstream. But Cian Shields made the most of it and led into Les Combes for the first time of asking. Very easy to spot Cian Shields with that bright yellow helmet. He led until Noel Leon made his way through on Simonazzi, and then hunted down his teammate and made his way through at Les Combes up on the inside, and took a second consecutive victory, having won the final race in Portimao as well. And this time it didn't need a little help from Tim Tramnitz and Enzo Trulli making contact on the late stage of the race. Race number 2 was Simonazzi, who led in the early stages after Jakob Bergmeister really struggled to get away from reverse grid pole. Bryce Aron took over the lead, and once again Noel Leon had to fight his way from 3rd, initially passing Simonazzi on the Kemmel Straight, and then hunted down after Bryce Aron. Another race that went right down to the wire, but he couldn't make a way through on Cian Shields. And Shields took his first win in the Euroformula. Sorry, not Shields, in Bryce Aron, who took his first win in the Euroformula Open Championship.
Well, from what I can see, Chris, it looks like all drivers have now been safely extracted from cars and moved, are now in safety, and the car is now being moved over at Gerard G. Any updates I get on those drivers, I will give to you as and when, but it looks like we are getting a little bit closer now to getting underway.
Yeah, we have a pretty decent view of what's going on from the commentary box window here. We can see Gerard G's car is now being loaded onto the low loader, which should mean that we'll be back underway very shortly with the remaining 7 cars in the field. And for what it's worth, it was Josh Mason who was leading when the red flags came out, having slipstreamed his way past Bryce Aron around the outside of Les Combes. Very typical of what we've been seeing so far this weekend. I think that slipstream is going to be really quite powerful. Here we go, restart behind the safety car will be at 15:59, which is in just under 7 minutes time. This So that's the countdown on. The marshals just sweeping away the final bits of debris and cleaning up the last elements of fluid have been dropped by the cars. Fantastic work by the marshals, as always, and we're very grateful for their support to Go Racing. And a little note here, Chris, actually, which is that there's a headwind down the Camel Straight, which is only going to make that slipstream even more powerful.
Yeah, I did see you sit up in your seat there when you discovered that. It's going to be very, very exciting when we do get racing, and fans going now to get in the best possible places to watch the restart, and they've got about 6.5 minutes.
I do like
5.5 minutes rather to do that. But there we can see now cars, drivers safely have been taken off to the taking off the circuit. Recovery vehicles, medical team are making their way back off the track. That means we're very close. That's the damage to Gerard G's car. Look, you can see.
Yeah, an awful lot of work for the Motorpark. The Crypto Tower boys, run by the Motorpark team to do.
Real shame for his weekend to end like that. All we can say is we, of course, hope he's okay. But Gerard G, who had put in a lot of work over the weekend, as do all the drivers, but for his first weekend, and I'm sure something he was really looking forward to after qualifying, starting on pole. A real shame for it to end like this, but he will be back. I'm sure he's got a bright future.
And the other two drivers we've lost, one being Paolo Brajnik for NV Racing. A very eclectic racing career, must be said. Titles in superbikes, Italian Super Twin and European superbikes as well as a few other single-seater series, formerly an acrobatic plane pilot as well.
Okay.
So he's had a very, very interesting life there, and but not that interesting end to his race, unfortunately.
I can imagine he'll still, even years down the line, he'll still be finding something to do. What it will be, actually, that really intrigues me, because it sounds like he just wants to try everything.
He should go and give that boat racing series a go, because then it conquered land, air, and sea.
I was about to say the same thing.
Absolutely love it. And of course, Jakob Bergmeister, who is no longer going to be taking part in this race, the 17-year-old from Solingen in Germany, fourth generational talent. And this is still only his first season of single-seater racing, although he has been incredibly unlucky so far this season, I will say, with the couple of stalls, this incident, and of course the broken throttle that stopped him making his debut in Portimao. But yeah, made his single-seater debut in UAE F4 this year. Before that, he was in shifter karts, which is quite the step up. But he comes from a long line of racing drivers. You might be familiar with his uncle Jorg, who was a Porsche works driver for many years, multiple Le Mans class wins. His father, Tim, was also a GT champion. His grandfather, Willie, famously trained a very young Michael Schumacher as an apprentice mechanic in his VW workshop in the late 80s, and himself was a touring car champion as well. And I haven't got written down what his great-grandfather did, but he himself was also a racing driver as well. So the name Bergmeister means a lot in the motor racing paddock.
It means you race.
Exactly.
That's good. I mean, those shifter karts as well, they are something else if you haven't tried one. Well, if you haven't actually gone to see them, even that is quite spectacular.
If you want to break all your ribs, give them a go as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, I did try one once, and I was in a bit of a bad way after, let's just say that. But some of our GT Open drivers in particular were very successful.
Was that when Carol Bash was training you?
It was, but I didn't go in the shifter kart. They said, do you want to go in the shifter kart? And I said, Marco Ardigo shifter kart. It was... anyone who's watched karting will know him, a legend of the sport. And I politely said, I'll stick to Carol Baz's because it doesn't have any gears.
One too many things to think about.
Oh, the front wheels come off the ground when you start them. They're that powerful. When they do standing starts, they're crazy.
Wow.
But so are these things. These are pretty powerful as well.
They are indeed. I must say, these are great machines, these Dallara 320s. And
I'll tell you what, I'm going to
go
just briefly pause you. When you first went to Portimao, what did you think when you first heard these, saw these in action?
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love the sound of that Speaks engine. It's fantastic. To me, it's like properly old Formula 3.
Yeah.
And I kind of miss that a little bit, because for me, a Formula 3 car should be light as anything, should have all the weight out the rear, and you should drive it by the scruff of your neck with skinny little tyres on it.
Yeah, I mean,
that's exactly what
power they've got. It's crazy as well, isn't it?
I hear the sound of engines being fired up, and as the clock approaches 15:59 in about 45 seconds' time, then the restart procedure behind the safety car will be underway. There we see the lights on the safety car on. The mechanics have stepped back from the cars, which means we're going to get a restart procedure shortly. You see the safety car boards being lit up, the digital panels there. We will be under safety car conditions when we get going again. And now there is a 30-minute time limit on these races. So we may well not get the full 13 laps in. But nonetheless, should still be plenty of time left for some action. Safety car leads the field out of the pit lane. That is officially now one lap completed in this race. So 12 of the 13 still to run. And thank you for waiting with us for what will hopefully be a decent end to what has been another cracking weekend of Euroformula action.
Yeah, still plenty more to come as well. Still so early in the season, isn't it? But we have some fantastic racing ahead, including the one we're about to start. I think it's been both races have gone all the way to the end.
Yes,
Kian Schultz versus Noel Leon, and then Noel Leon versus Bryce Arrow.
And because this is effectively a safety car restart now, Josh Mason is the leader of this race. And he's going to be the one punching a hole in the air. I think because they did actually reach the first timing line before the red flag came out, that means that they can take that order, because they haven't said anywhere that they're going to be lining up on the grid. It seems to me like this is just going to be a standard safety car restart. So I wonder if anything, Josh Mason doesn't want to be leading on the restart and would rather be in second place and slipstream past for the lead. But plenty of time for that strategy to unfold. We've seen it all weekend, Chris.
Yeah, it's going to be lots of slipstreaming. We're going to have a Noel Leon, which he will not want to be waiting around at all. He'll want to get a move on, so he'll want to check past Vladimir Netashil and Juju Noda as quickly as possible, and then carve his way through the likes of Kian Schultz, Francesco Simonazzi, Bryce Arrow, Josh Mason. I'm talking like those guys, like he is much quicker than those guys. It's all been fantastic races both times, and Josh Mason is going to be the one that leads us from Bryce Arrow and Simonazzi. But as you said, does he want to be leading coming out of turn one? Well, let's see how good he is with the start.
Josh Mason, the 21-year-old from Birmingham, on his return to the Euroformula Open Championship. A race winner in British F3 between 2018 and 2020. Also combined that with 2 MRF Challenge Formula 2000 seasons as well. And this now being his 3rd season in the Euroformula Open, was a 3-time race winner last year and has been chucked right in at the deep end. I don't think we've quite seen his full potential this weekend for one reason or another, but now I think that we will.
And this is obviously where he actually caught the bug for racing, coming to the Grand Prix came here with his dad for the Grand Prix about 10 years ago, and from there he fell in love with the sport. I'm sure he would have dreamt of this moment, leading the pack up to Blanchimont for a safety car restart. Let's see if he can complete the task at hand. Not going to be easy, though, with the likes of Bryce Arrow, Kian Schultz, Francesco Simonazzi, Noel Leon, Vladimir Netashil, Juju Noda, all tucked in behind.
Absolutely. So the safety car is well away, and Josh Mason slowly leads the field around the final sector of Spa-Francorchamps. And when he puts his foot down, we will be racing once again for the third and final race of round 2 of the 2023 Euroformula Open Championship. And Mason puts his foot down now. Won't be any overtaking into the final corner, but Mason has put his foot down. And we're racing once again at Spa-Francorchamps. It's Josh Mason who leads, Bryce Aaron from Francesco Simonazzi. Then comes Cian Shields and Juju Noda. And Vladimir Neschel already coming under pressure from Noel Leon. He'll want to clear that car pretty sharpish. And he does indeed around the outside into La Source, and he wants to get on the back of his fellow motor park drivers. Simonazzi going to be feeling like the odd one out here as the BVM Racing contingent, but Mason's got away very well. He led by half a second out of the bus stop chicane, and here we go. The slipstreaming commences as hugging the inside of the road there is Mason, but Simonazzi looks like he's going to be the one making the moves round the outside. No, because here comes Cian Shields taking 2 in 1. Unbelievable! And off the road goes Bryce Aaron, our race winner from earlier, loses a place to both Shields and to Simonazzi, but from Cian Shields, take a bow, sir.
That was a bold move, wasn't it, down the inside? Are we going to see another possibly slightly inspired from the move that he had put on him there? Bryce Aaron trying to get down the inside. Juju Noda doing a good job. She's right in there as well, holding on to the pack, but she's got Noel Leon breathing down her neck, so she's going to have to be wary of that. And there you can see, just getting in the mirrors there, Noel Leon as they came into Pouhon, trying to distract Juju Noda as much as he can. And now I think he's going to pull the move off into the Fangya chicane. Juju Noda just opens the door, tucks back in behind. She's going to try and go with Noel Leon and get after this top 4.
Leon's pushing, isn't he? He had a big snap of oversteer on the exit of the Fangya chicane. Now he's got to set about closing that 1 second gap to Bryce Aaron there. He does not want to lose that slipstream at all, because otherwise you could be left for dead. He definitely doesn't want to spend his entire race squabbling with Juju Noda, because then he really will start falling away from the pack. Cian Shields, having made up 2 places into the Les Combes chicane, now fancies a third move, this time for the race lead, but it won't be done. Simonazzi with a late lunge up the inside there, and Shields has to leave him some space at the apex, but nothing doing in terms of position changes, and that allows Josh Mason a slight reprieve. 0.6 of a second is his advantage as they start lap 4.
His friend can be Francesco Simonazzi here. If he decides to make a move on Cian Shields, then that could give Josh Mason the opportunity to escape. Already he's trying to break the toe, just going a little bit wide to get now the run into Eau Rouge. Wary that Cian Shields is going to be in the slipstream. Noel Leon, is he about to put a move on Bryce Aaron? Possibly. There's Juju Noda, 6th in queue. They're all together, all 6 in a line as we come down the Kemmel Straight. At the very front of it is Josh Mason, but here comes Cian Shields to the right-hand side of screen. Is he going to go around the outside? Fantastic driving from the Scotsman, and he goes into P1.
Phenomenal stuff from Cian Shields, made up 3 places in a little over 1 lap. Simonazzi still waiting in the wings there in 3rd place, and Bryce Aaron and Noel Leon and Juju Noda have absolutely joined this train of cars as well. We have 6 fighting for the lead.
Brilliant stuff, isn't it? And Noel Leon, is he going to put that same move he did on Juju Noda now on Bryce Aaron into the chicane? He's going to get a good run through Pouhon. Oh, I'm not too sure, ran a little bit wide mid-corner there. All of this is allowing Mason to get a gap. Oh, and Simonazzi, that was brave stuff, trying to get down the inside into the chicane. That's going to leave him vulnerable now to Bryce Aaron and Noel Leon behind. So he's going to have to be very careful of that as they now come out of Stavelot and make the run down to the chicane. Oh, Noel Leon there, flirting with disaster, almost on the gravel, but just manages to save things up. And here he comes down the inside. Noel Leon is going to make another place. That's 4th place ahead of Bryce Aaron.
Oh, side by side in Blanchimont though, brave stuff, and he's trying to carry the speed. Round the outside was Bryce Aaron. And they're still side by side coming down the bus stop chicane into the corner, and Noel Leon eventually gets the move consolidated.
Well, that's a man who has just won a race, isn't it? Bryce Aron. He was not prepared to give that lead up at all. The lead, I'd say fourth place, he was not prepared to give the position up at all, was he? He wanted to hold on to it, but he can work with Noel Leon here, and the pair now can go after the podium places. Quickest driver on track is Cian Shields, 2 minute 13.3, and he was quite comfortably quicker than everyone else as he tries to escape. There's Juju Noda still within touching distance as well. It is 6-4 the lead now as they come down the Camel's Track.
Yeah, blinding speed from Cian Shields on that last lap, though, has pulled a second, 1.1 seconds even, on the rest of the field while they're busy squabbling. Simonazzi now trying to get round the outside for second place, gets that move done on Josh Mason there. So Mason demoted to third now as Simonazzi kicked out the back end of that BBM racing car in the middle of the Les Combes chicane. And Macy fancied a run a little bit down the inside, but nothing doing there. Of course, next car down the road is Noel Leon and Bryce Aron as well.
Yeah, I tell you what, Cian Shields doing a fantastic job, isn't he? He's starting to escape here. The guys second and back have got to be careful because Cian Shields could get this one in the bag early if they are not careful. That said, though, we have seen races so far this weekend with big gaps that come down very quickly at the end. So is there tyre saving strategies going on within this queue of cars? I wonder. There is the 23 of Bryce Aron winner earlier on today. Simonazzi in second, then it's Mason, then it's Leon, then it's Aron. Leon seems to be the one doing the overtaking. He's third in queue here. Here we are, the camera picking him up now, the number 19. Let's see if the Mexican can go and make another place next time round.
Coming up to the bus stop chicane for the 5th time of our skiing. Still Josh Mason holds that final spot on the podium ahead of Noel Leon and Bryce Aron. Juju Noda just starting to slip away slightly from the back of this train of cars. She's 1.6 seconds back from what is now a battle for second place, I would say, because Cian Shields is 1.5 seconds clear. He's checking out.
Yeah. Brilliant job from him, 2 minute 12, as he said. But this is the battle to focus on. Second and third in queue is the one I'd say we need to watch. It is Josh Mason versus Noel Leon for the last step on the podium. Noel Leon will want to get this move done now. Josh Mason, however, will also want to make a move. He'll want to get past Simonazzi, so it could be 3 wide possibly as we go down the Kemmel Straight. Let's see, Mason closing in, closing in, closing in. Is he going to dart out of the slipstream and make a move? Sensibly decides against it, but as neutrals, we all wanted to see a move going on of some sort, but Mason very sensibly just stays where he is. He knows there's plenty of time to go in this race.
Fastest lap of the race set by Shields again as Mason has a little lock up into Rivage corner, and I'll tell you, Simonazzi is the master of kicking out the back end of that car, especially in the Les Combes chicane. Did a nice little happy moment once again on that lap, but you see Cian Shields just absolutely checking out. Now the fastest lap last time around was a 2:12.564. And now Simonazzi starting to pull away from Mason as well. Mason's got to be worried about Noel Leon in his mirrors now, surely.
Yeah, just a bit. I think Mason's definitely going to be wary of that, isn't he, as they come down to Stavelot. And it's just giving Simonazzi some breathing space, Chris, hasn't it? You can see he's just got a bit of a gap here. Mason now, I think, is going to have to be on the defensive from Noel Leon. The gap between the top 2, by the way, from this man and our leader is 1.6 seconds. So not impossible to close that down. That's similar gaps to what we've seen come down in terms of races for the lead so far this weekend. So we could see it again, but Noel Leon, every time he goes up Eau Rouge, you just think he's going to make a move. That's just been the nature of his driving this weekend. This time, this is the closest I think he has been to Josh Mason. So is that change for third going to come this time around into La Source? You'll never see a move from Noel Leon into there. He doesn't want to overtake maybe on the first lap, as we saw, but other than that, he knows it's all about this run, Chris.
Certainly is, and Simonazzi looks like he's got a not a untouchable gap, but a decent one. Certainly more than what Josh Mason's got with Noah Leon right behind him. And here comes the Mexican now, pulls out of the slipstream to the inside. Now, oddly enough, that's actually giving Mason the slipstream and allows him to stay ahead of Noah Leon and actually have a cheeky look up the inside of Francesco Simonazzi. So, interesting. Oh, wow, now that was a good run through Les Combes, and I thought for a moment he would sling out the inside of Malmedy, but nothing doing there. But yeah, interesting there. If you're in the train of cars and you don't defend, you stay in the slipstream, and you can actually keep the place.
Yeah, no, very, very clever driving from Josh Mason. He says you can have the inside, but with it, you're going to be punching your own hole in the air. And I will be picking up the slipstream from Francesco Simonazzi. So, yeah, good driving from Josh Mason to not panic and start defending. He knows he can just stay where he is, but there we go. That was a moment, wasn't it?
That was a big moment there for Bryce Aaron in the back of that queue in the middle of the Fagnes chicane. Here's our race leader, though. Very easy to spot with his bright yellow helmet. Now leads by almost 1.8 seconds to Francesco Simonazzi.
It's going up, but only slightly, the gap between the two leaders.
Yeah.
10.42, that's it. We're in a part of the race where I think they're just ticking their laps off now, given the stuff we've seen. And then we'll see big pushes coming towards the end, or the drivers who have saved their tyres the most benefiting, and those who haven't really suffering. So let's see what happens, but here we go. Across the line once more. Josh Mason's going to have the tow from Simonazzi, so we could see a similar move of Noah Leon going to the inside and gaining absolutely nothing from it.
Absolutely nothing, indeed. I wouldn't bet on it, but certainly once again, Mason and Leon looking very, very close through Eau Rouge and up the top of Radion. 6 laps remaining, and is this the moment where Noah Leon chooses to make his move for the last spot on the podium? Now, once again, is on the inside, and Mason hangs on to that slipstream. I don't think it's enough this time, though, because he's been able to stay level and under brakes. Mason scoots across the runoff area at Les Combes, and thank you very much. That's third place for Noah Leon.
Yeah, just got a fantastic run, didn't he, up through Eau Rouge and Radion, and managed to get by, despite the fact that Mason had a bit of a tow there, but just wasn't quite close enough, and actually having to abort Les Combes and go straight across it. Right, so Leon through in the third. Now he's going to go after Simonazzi, and he'll want to get by quickly. That said, Simonazzi's doing a really good job here because he's brought the gap down from 1.7 to 1.4. So he's got some pace. He's got really good pace. He's got pace to be where he is. It's easy with the fact that Leon has won this weekend to think that he will catch and go by, but Simonazzi is actually closing in on the race leader. So good driving from him. Is Shield starting to save tyres? I don't know. I think this might just be the pace of Simonazzi. I think he's getting his head down now, and he's trying to go after him. Don't forget, his tyres fell off a cliff when he was leading, wasn't it, in race 1? He's learned from that, clearly, because now, towards the end of the race, in the second half of it anyway, he is starting to close in our race leader.
Yeah,
and quite dramatically as well now.
Yeah, this is a mighty lap, because last time around, or the last couple of laps, they've just been matching each other on pace, but Simonazzi's putting in either Simonazzi's putting in a mega lap, or Cian Shields is slowing up.
Or a bit of both.
It is a bit of both, because Shields went 0.3 slower, and Simonazzi went 0.3 faster. So that is a net 0.6 gained, and the gap down to 1 second. But it's Noah Leon who's the pace setter, 2:12.352, and now 0.6 away from Simonazzi for second place.
Yep, up the hill they come, and this is the part where maybe if you haven't saved your tyres enough, you're going to start feeling it. Cian Shields was really pumping in fastest sectors, fastest laps. Is he now going to start to suffer from that? Sounds strange, doesn't it? But that's the way it goes in single-seater racing. And as Noah Leon told us when we spoke to him, these tyres as well, you've got to be able to manage them down the hill now. into the hairpin. There we see Leon getting a little bit closer. The gap between the top three was 1.2 seconds, first to third. So we are shaping up nicely for a good end to the race here.
Yeah, this is the gap over the last few laps, and you see Leon took a further 3/10 out of Simonazzi on that last lap, and taking quite a chunk of time out of race leader Kian Shields as well. So it's all concertinaing up in the final stages of this race. Less than 5 laps remain now, and it is only 1.3 seconds or so that separates the top 3 as they head out of the curve. Paul Frere for the 9th time of asking, and it seems to me like Bryce Aaron in 5th place there. We've been talking about the confidence, but it doesn't look like he's going to be the contender for this one. It's going to come down to these top 3.
I'll tell you what, Simonazzi could be close enough next time around to make a move for the race lead. Here they go into the chicane. Oh, that was good stuff into the chicane. I thought Simonazzi was going to go straight on there, but just got the car stopped in time. It's such an elevation change into that bus stop chicane that you can afford to carry a lot of speed in. Naturally, as you climb uphill, the car will slow down, the momentum will slow down, and that is why you see the drivers just carrying so much speed into there. Use a bit of curb maybe as well, just to help pull the car around, get you to the right-hand side of the circuit, and open up the left-hander. Here we go, though, up the hill. Is it going to be a change for the lead? Is it going to be a change for second? It could be one or the other. Are we going to see Leon going to the inside and not being able to pass? Simonazzi is staying in the toe of Kian Shields. He will not move from there, but Leon's got a double toe. He now pulls to the inside, and giving him a bit of a toe was Kian Shields as well. Side by side into Lake Cobb, and it's going to be Simonazzi running straight over. Leon helps himself to second.
Yeah, I'm not sure running over the curbs there on the outside is the best strategy when you've got a car up on your inside, but the second one to do it was Simonazzi. Josh Mason did it a couple of laps ago. Here it is again. And you see he had the double slipstream, as you mentioned, Chris, and that just drew him up alongside, but yeah, don't think, must add a swapper on there in the middle of the corner there for Simonazzi. And now, suddenly, whoa, Simonazzi, no, that's...
It is
Simonazzi off into the gravel. Had a massive moment there. For a second, I thought it might have been Nettershil, but it is definitely.
Is he going to be able to get it out?
Simonazzi, and he looks like he's stuck in the gravel. Suddenly now, it is Noah Leon versus Kian Shields for the lead of the race. But will we have to have a safety car intervention for Simonazzi's stricken BVM car? So he's gone wide here, and look, goes through that little patch of dirt, which I'm sure has been left from the GT Open endurance race, where we saw an incident there that I'm sure will have left some fluid down, and they will have used that to clean it up. And oh, poor old Francesco Simonazzi, and the safety car is deployed with, as they cross the line, 3 laps remaining.
Wow.
If this can be the fastest extraction in history, we have 7 minutes remaining on the clock as well. We might just sneak in a racing lap.
Yeah, 7 minutes. I mean, that's to get the car out, get them around. It's, who knows? Like you said, we might get the 1 lap, but it's again, it's 13 laps or 30 minutes, whichever comes first. And in this instance now, I think it looks like we're going to hit the timer first. So we will see what happens. But a real shame, because Simonazzi had put in a fantastic performance there. That moves Josh Mason up to 3rd place. Bryce Aaron goes to 4th. Juju Noda, our lead rookie, 5th place. And then Nettershil next in 6th place. A real shame to lose one there. Simonazzi, I thought he had caught it, but it was just in the gravel. As you said, if we can extract this car and get it going again, then who knows, we might be able to just squeeze in a couple of laps, one or 2 laps in. That would be exciting, wouldn't it? Yeah. That could be, anyone could win.
Yeah, genuinely could. And then there were 6. Spa has not been too kind to these cars in the 3rd and final race of the weekend, but Spa giveth and Spa taketh away. So Kian Shields in that number 73 Motorpark car with the bright yellow helmet. You'll see leads his Motorpark teammate Noah Leon, 2-time winner already this season. Kian Shields going for his first of the season. Josh Mason is on his return to the championship in third in the 21 car, and Bryce Aaron won race number 2 earlier, and he would dearly love to make it back-to-back victories. He's in fourth at the moment with Juju Noda in 5th place, and really, you're right, Chris, if we get going again, any one of them could take it.
Yeah, and I think it could just come down to one lap. We're going to see exactly where we are in terms of the clear-up when we come down to Pouhon now. We might see if we have any vehicles left on track, or if they have managed to get it off. It looked like the marshals were quickly to the scene and had already started to clear that car up. So brilliant work by the team as always. Here we go. Right, it's on the move. The car is on the move.
Here it is again, just arriving backwards. Too much momentum, that's the problem.
Red flag.
Oh, red flag. Now, I was going to say, 2 years ago, that wouldn't have been a problem because there was no gravel there and he would have just carried on. No, there is gravel there now, and he's reached it, and we have a red flag, and I assume that the message we're going to get on the timing screen in a moment is the race will not resume.
Well, one thing we have to say is there has been a couple of delays today, hasn't there? And there is a schedule we need to keep to.
Yeah, we still have Italian F4 and Clio Cups to get through today, don't we?
So here at the track, the timetable, with the delays we've already had in other races that have been taking part a little bit earlier today, I think that's a case of we cannot afford to lose more time, or we're not going to get this out within 4 minutes. So but I think it's down to keep to schedule. We did have a big delay at the start of the race as well, so a shame, but not for that man, Kean Shields.
And less than 4 minutes remaining on the clock as well. So, for Kean Shields, it looks like he is going to take his first Euroformula victory of the season. Man in car number 73 in his first season racing in Europe. He was a race winner in GB3 last year, and he will have the sweet taste of victory champagne once again, assuming we get the message, which we think we will, that the race will not resume, and it will be no Leon. Well, actually, if they count back, Simonazzi will still be second, won't he?
Yeah.
So Leon will be third. But we'll wait and see what the actual... There we go. Race will not restart. Kean Shields is a Euroformula race winner in 2023. And we believe it will be Francesco Simonazzi, who is classified second. And hopefully he's got on the back of a moped or something to make it to the podium
he
in
can
time.
get to the podium, I don't know.
And no Leon in third. So... yes, because the red flag came out before they crossed the timing line, hadn't they?
Yeah, no, it goes back a lap.
Yeah, it will go back the full lap, won't it? So a shame for Josh Mason there, because he's just missed out on a podium once again on his return to the championship. But that is the way of things. That is how racing goes sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, Bryce Aaron 5th, Juju Noda top rookie, and Vladimir Neschil next along, Gold Cup winner, but not how we would have wanted to do it, but nevertheless a brilliant performance, and after his performances this weekend, he really deserved that, Chris.
Absolutely. Kean Shields been an absolute star this weekend and now takes his first victory in the Euroformula Open, and confirmation there, Francesco Simonazzi classified in second place despite bringing out the red flag, and No Leon will be on the podium. Another race with 2 Team Motorpark cars on the podium. And of course we had the start incident involving Gerard G, Jakob Bergmeister and Paolo Brasnik at the start of the race, who are not classified. And in terms of the championship, it's still No Leon who leads, now by 22 points, as Simonazzi was able to just eat into that ever so slightly. Bryce Aaron now 9 points further back from Simonazzi in third. And Kean Shields now moves up to fourth, 40 points behind our championship leader.
Well, there we go. Fantastic stuff, wasn't it? Kean Shields did a really solid job. I have to say, his performances in qualifying to get himself where he was, line himself up where he was, and also in the races as well. He really ran No Leon hard in the first race, and he drove like a race winner, and I think that really did show in that race. You know, as I said, you know, he wouldn't have wanted to win behind the safety car, but that's not what people will remember. They'll remember he won at Spa in Euroformula Open, and we look back at the names that have done that. Ollie Goethe, Louis Foster, in recent years, Yufi Yi as well, Marino Sarta, they've all gone on to do very big things. Felipe Drugovich, another, and he joins that list of illustrious drivers, along with our other winners this weekend as well. So it's been a really fantastic end to the weekend for Cian Shields, and that confidence he's going to gain from this, he will carry into the rest of the season. And he won't want to stop there. He'll want to add to that when we go to Hungary.
Absolutely. Round 3 of the 2023 Euroformula Open season comes from Budapest, the Hungaroring, on the 17th and 18th of June, in a few weeks' time, where we should see even more changes to the grid, apparently, and more drama. Highlights from race number 3. After a red flag at the start, we got going again behind the safety car, and it was Josh Mason who led the way initially ahead of Bryce Aaron and Francesco Simonazzi. We knew that there was going to be plenty of slipstreaming action, and there was, because Cian Shields made this audacious double overtake into Les Combes and pushing Bryce Aaron out wide. That allowed Simonazzi to go through on the inside as well. And then Nolion entered the frame, first of all passing Josh Mason, and then eventually closing down on Simonazzi and Cian Shields for what would be the lead battle. We saw it really close up as Nolion attempted to get through on Simonazzi, and did make the move stick as Simonazzi went off on the runoff there. But this was what brought the race to an early conclusion. Simonazzi, a mistake at Pouon, one of the few corners where you can't make a mistake and expect to get away with it, and beached his car in the gravel. The red flags were out, and that brought the race to a premature end, with Cian Shields taking the victory. And the podium should be underway shortly. There is Nolion walking down the pit lane, presumably towards the podium. I think they would have parked them up a little bit further up in the pit lane. Yes, they probably parked them up at the end of the pit lane, hoping the race will restart, which means they've got to walk all the way back down again.
Well, it's not. I think it's not just that. It's Clio's are also about to go out here as well. So
yeah,
it's cars possibly coming through pit lane, but yeah, that's, we're done with the weekend now, so they can do a bit of walking, and the weather's not bad, is it?
No, certainly not. Much better than we expected it to be.
I know.
You'd have thought it'd be like this in Spa.
We didn't pack for this either, did we?
Definitely not. Got long sleeves and jackets on. Well, in my suitcase anyway. I've left them at the hotel. But so there is the race winner, Cian Shields, the young Scot who has taken his first victory. A leisurely stroll to the podium. Yeah,
Dean McDonald with him as well. A guy who has done great things in himself in karting, a bit of single-seaters, GTs as well. And great to see that he's with Cian and working with him, and I'm sure giving him some fantastic bits of advice to help him get in the position to go and get that win as well. So good support there for Cian Shields. Fellow Scotsman is Dean McDonald, and there we can see Cian Shields walking down. I think just figuring out what's going on here, because we did have the race put back a lap, and we do have to walk down to the podium as well. Don't forget, we've got another race about to start, so those cars might be coming through, but nevertheless, Cian Shields walking down, and they'll be on the podium very soon.
And I'm assuming there's a conversation going on there with Josh Mason saying, what do you mean I'm not on the podium? Simonazzi crashed and brought out a red flag.
Possibly, but...
he doesn't look best pleased, does he?
No, it's not the way he would have wanted things to end, but yeah, it's been a brilliant weekend watching the likes of, watching all of them actually. I've really enjoyed it, and they've got great seasons ahead of them. Cian Shields making his way down.
It's the top three then from race number 3. Noel Leon for Team Motorpark, the young Mexican, caps off a very good weekend indeed that sees him take the championship lead. Francesco Simonazzi, despite the red flag, is in second place for BVM Racing, a second consecutive podium finish for the Italian, and taking his first victory in the Euroformula Open. It's the Scotsman Cian Shields for Team Motorpark. Very familiar with F3 level machinery at this point.
Maiden win in the Euroformula in a strange race.
Yeah, definitely. It was a bit of a strange one with the 2 safety cars coming out, one at the start and then one at the end, but that was overall a tough race, and we done good to keep our gap at the front, and then just safety car come out just in time.
Still taste is good, eh?
Yeah, definitely. It's still amazing to get our first win and only our second weekend in Euroformula, and it's really good, and I'd like to say a big thanks to Team Motorpark and the engineer Andy and all the mechanics.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well, let's take a look at the highlights once again. After the safety car restart following a red flag incident, Josh Mason led the field away, having taken the lead on the opening lap just before the red flags came out. And it was the 23 of Bryce Aaron who was alongside him, but then Cian Shields, an audacious move up the inside, taking 2 in 1 into Les Combes. That's going to be the move of the season so far. Came under pressure from Noel Leon, as well did Josh Mason, but he ended up skipping across the runoff area at Les Combes and lost the place to the Mexican. Simonazzi fighting his way towards the front, and Wright says he lost second place here to Noel Leon with another classic Les Combes manoeuvre that resulted in Simonazzi running across the runoff area. He made this mistake and brought the race to a premature end, running wide at Pouon here, kicks up some dust there and loses the car, beaches it in the gravel and brings out the red flags. Despite that, still is classified second because of the countback. And of course as well, securing victory for Cian Shields as well. And the podium about to get underway as well. And we will have Noel Leon for Team Motorpark in third place on the right-hand side. There he is. Francesco Simonazzi has made it back. That's probably what we've been waiting for, to take second place on the podium, and Cian Shields on the top step. Juju Noda will take the rookie class position on the podium, with Vladimir Neschel on the right-hand side taking the gold step.
Congratulations to Cian Shields, the winner of this race 3 in the Euroformula Open. La présentation des...
Cian Shields with his first victory of the season, and we've seen with Noel Leon, it's a breakthrough win and can make a real difference to your season. And we may well see that with Bryce Aaron as well when we go to Budapest in a few weeks' time. For Cian Shields, this could be a pretty big moment for his career. That could change things for the season.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know, good to see him. It meant a lot to him, clearly, and he said it's safety car coming out just the right time for me, which was funny to hear. But I think he would have put up a real good fight as well, and thanking the team as well. They all worked very hard on the build-up to the season and in between rounds, and it really is showing for Cian Shields. Very quick driver in his karting days, and it's carried over now as well. And this could be the first of many for him if he keeps putting in performances like he has, and he's going to take a lot of confidence from this, and will want to get himself into title contentions. But he's going to have to beat that man to his right on our screen, Noel Leon.
Certainly will, and Noel Leon being very formidable form at the moment. As the celebrations on the podium start, we will leave you from Spa-Francorchamps. We'll see you in Budapest in a few weeks' time.
Thank you.